What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Night Owl channel. In this video, I'll be counting down the top 20 strongest characters within the Dynasty Warriors series. Now, this is a very subjective and opinion-based list, so both the rankings and my conclusions on who I believe is stronger than other characters is completely subjective, and I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section on who you believe is the strongest characters within the game. For me, I'm going to be going off the personal feats within the games for each of the characters, along with as many of the feats as I can gather from the books and the novels themselves. I'm not going to include as much of the historical information, but I will be bringing in pieces of it to make my arguments a little more solid and hopefully bring out the most accurate, respectable list that I can. So with that being said, we've got a lot to cover here. It was hard to choose like just the top 10. I really wanted to talk about more than just 10 of the strongest characters, so I extended the list to 20. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Now I want to mention real quickly that at like 21st place, I think I would put Yue Jin. So Yue Jin and Xiahou Yuan were the contenders for the 20th position. And the reason I say that Xiahou Yuan is above Yue Jin is because, again, from my subjective view, from looking at it from a one-on-one dueling perspective, if Xiahou Yuan versus Yue Jin, I believe Xiahou Yuan would come out on top. He was a very exceptional general and fighter. Unfortunately, he ended up losing to the general Huang Sheng at the Battle of Hanzhong, but I think Xiahou Yuan, being so trusted and of course having the success that he did in the campaigns that he was a part of, I believe he was a pretty capable and skilled fighter, and I think he's a great choice to start off our list here at number 20. Zhang He had to be on the list somewhere. I believe he's a good choice at number 19. One of the 5 elite generals of Wei, and he was an exceptional warrior and general for the Wei Kingdom, especially towards the later part of his career when he was commanding the forces of Wei after Xiahou Yuan passed away. His adaptability led him to being feared by Liu Bei and Zhuge Liang, and if you're commanding fear from these two characters, you are quite the general in itself. And I believe he's a little bit above Xiahou Yuan, because again, if I'm looking at it, envisioning a duel between Zhang He and Xiahou Yuan, I believe that Zhang He would come out on top, just from what I read, just from the kind of person that he was within history, and then of course, you know, within the games as well. I believe he would adapt to any scenario that he would be a part of and would be able to come out on top against Xiahou Yuan, putting him at number 19. Now, originally I had Zheng Wei a little higher. I think I had him at like 15th or 16th, but I brought him down because the people above him I believe he would actually lose to in a duel one-on-one. It is said that he dueled Zhao Yun to a duel, which is a, very good feat in itself. But I have to take a little bit of credit away from him because Zhao Yun at the time was around 60 or 70 years old. And even though a lot of the records and things that I've read said that Zhao Yun was just as capable as he was when he was younger, it's really hard to believe that the feat of being able to duel Zhao Yun to a draw is the same thing as saying that if he fought him back in Zhao Yun's Changban days, it would have been the same result. So that's why I put him a little lower, because I don't think Zheng Wei would have beaten the people above him. And of course, leading so many, northern campaigns, he had to have been somewhat skilled and confident in his ability to continuously go to war and try to push the Shu agenda. So coming in at number 18, I think it's a solid choice for Zheng Wei. Tai Shi was a really skilled warrior, and that's what drew Sun Ce into recruiting him and wanting him to be a part of the Wu Kingdom. And he dueled Sun Ce to a draw, and I believe in some of the games he also loses to him, but he held his own against someone as capable as Sun Ce, and I think it made him a good choice for this list. Tai Shi ends up getting killed by Zhang Liao in some of the games. I don't believe that happens in history, but in most of the games, I believe Tai Shi's death is a result of Zhang Liao's doing, or getting ambushed. And I think Tai Shi, again, a very skilled and capable fighter. And I think one-on-one against any of the characters I've already mentioned, I believe Tai Shi would come out on top. I believe Tai Shi is a great choice on this list, and I think he's a solid choice at number 17. So I included Xiahou Yuan. I have to include Huang Zhang somewhere in the list. He is the reason that Xiahou Yuan dies. He kills him one-on-one in a duel within the games, and of course I believe within the novel as well. And I had to include that because Huang Zhang, being an older character, is still able to pretty much keep up with the younger generals of his army and still show that expertise and skill in battle. He had to be included within this list. I think that's crazy to do, because if Huang Zhang's, in his 60s or maybe even in the 70s, whatever it is, and he's fighting at that tenacity and able to hold out on his own against hundreds or thousands of soldiers and beating very talented generals like Xiahou Yuan and I'm sure other miscellaneous generals, I had to include him up here at number 16. One of the 5 tiger generals of Shu, and I believe a solid choice for number 16. Alright, Peng De, easy choice to put on the list. It's just, again, finding where each character goes, putting them in a certain ranking above certain characters is very subjective to me. Again, you guys let me know what you guys think about it down below. But Peng De, number 15, I thought was a solid choice. He was originally at number 18, but I brought him all the way up because of his feat of dueling with Guan Yu. Now he does lose the duel, and he ends up getting killed. The water attack hits him. He doesn't end up surrendering, so they execute him. But just that feat in itself of being able to hold your own against Guan Yu and not being killed in that moment, I think puts him up here at number 15. If you're able to fight someone as skilled as Guan Yu, he's obviously going to have, I wouldn't say an easier time, but he would definitely hold his own against everyone else that I've already mentioned. I believe Peng De was a very strong and capable warrior, and he would have eventually come out on top on everybody that is below him. Just because of dueling the God of War himself and not perishing, I believe Peng De is a solid choice at number 15. So Sun Tzu's at number 14. He would be higher if we knew more about him. In the hypotheticals, it's hard to say what Sun Tzu would have really accomplished, but up until his death, he was an extremely skilled fighter, and he had to be if he was able to conquer that many regions that quickly. Again, he dueled Taishi to a draw, and sometimes within the game he ends up getting the better of him, and then, of course, asking him to join his kingdom, helping bring his vision to life. Sun Tzu also has, just like every other character on this list, he's defeated many miscellaneous warriors, and you can't just go out and defeat warriors without, of course, putting that risk on yourself. And because of that, I had to include him up here at number 14. Sun Tzu, I think, is a great choice, and just because we don't know what would have happened if he did end up living a little longer, I can't put him above some of the other characters on this list. I don't think he'd be able to genuinely beat the other people in a duel that are above him. I still think Sun Tzu is a very skilled warrior and extremely, capable general, but I don't think he would be any higher than number 14 on this list. Another one of the 5 elite generals of Wei. The reason that Xu Huang is on this list at number 13 is because he was quoted by Cao Cao to be described as someone who was a match for Sun Tzu. And if you're a match for somebody who was a general for 40 years and never lost a battle, a campaign, a war, somebody of that stature, that is saying something about this person. Being compared to a legend of that nature, I believe Xu Huang definitely had the skills to back it up. I think he would beat easily everyone else on this list in a duel because he's constantly training, constantly improving his skills. He's dueled Guan Yu a few times within the games during his story, and he's had some significant moments, especially against Guan Yu, where he's defeated him and beaten him in battle. That in itself is a very admirable feat to have, and I think it's a solid choice here at number 13. Someone who is a match for Sun Tzu is definitely going to be on this list, and I've always thought that Xu Huang was one of the strongest characters in this game. I think it's an easy choice to put him here at number 13. So this one I think is a little more controversial, and I'm going mainly off of the game feats that Xiahou Dun has. He does step on a lot of people's toes, like Xu Huang at the Battle of Fawn Castle. They usually make the rivalry between him and Guan Yu more prevalent than anything. So the reason he's up here is because of the way he's portrayed within the games. Reading through a lot of the information I was trying to find, like, did he duel people? Did he have any significant feats within the novel? And because my knowledge is limited with the novel itself, I didn't find any information about Shahou-Dun's, duels or who he fought, but just going off of him standing toe-to-toe with Guan Yu all the time, fighting him consistently, of course getting shot in the eye, pulling it out, eating it, continuing to fight, standing his ground against Lu Bu and his forces. I believe Shahou-Dun is a good pick for number 12. Everyone that's lower than him on this list, I think Shahou-Dun would beat in a duel one-on-one. So coming at number 12, it might be a little controversial just because I don't know a lot of information about like his duels and stuff, but just based on the game itself, I believe Shahou-Dun comes in at number 12. Again, this list was extremely hard to make, making choices based on my opinion and subjectiveness of the characters, of what I've seen in the games or reading about them. But just because of the comparison of Gan Ning to Zhang Liao, Gan Ning has got to be up here. If he's being compared to somebody who's, again, a very legendary and strong warrior, and someone like Zhang Liao, I believe Gan Ning deserves to be up this high. Now, I don't think he breaks the top 10. I actually had him in the top 10, but I dropped him down just because I believe the character in the top 10 would actually beat him in a one-on-one duel. When it comes to strength, I believe Gan Ning is one of the strongest characters within the Wu Kingdom, and I think he beat most of the characters within the Wu Kingdom and within the game itself. But just because I think the skill of some of the top 10 fighters, I don't think Gan Ning would be able to. I don't think he would be able to win. Whether that be because of his personality or whatever it is, him dying within the games due to Shimoke, like the ambush, or I believe in some cases the game or maybe the novel itself, they will mention that Gan Ning gets killed by Shimoke with his bare hands. Like that's insane to think about. So if that's entirely true, then he's definitely not in the top 10, but he's still one of the most capable and strongest fighters of the Wu Kingdom, and I think he's a solid choice here at number 11. So Zhou Tai starting off our top 10 because this dude is a beast. When a young Sun Quan was in charge of a city one day, he was surrounded and attacked by rebels and thieves, but Zhou Tai fought through them and helped Sun Quan get to safety many times using his body as a shield. Zhou Tai would suffer several wounds and cuts that would end up scarring his body, but he saved Sun Quan and was successfully treated and was back on the battlefield a month later. He would constantly do impressive things in the field, such as fighting the skilled warrior Sao Ren to a draw in a battle in 209 and killing one of Liu Bei's allies Shimoke, who ended up again killing Gan Ning. Zhou Tai was a badass bodyguard for Sun Quan, and I believe in a one-on-one duel, you are not getting past Zhou Tai. And again, not easily, but he would definitely come out on top against Gan Ning and everyone else that is already on the list. Zhou Tai, an easy choice at number 10 in a sense, because at first I had him below Gan Ning because of, again, the feats that Gan Ning was known for and just the comparison to Zhang Liao. That's a big draw for that character, but I think Zhou Tai would come out on top in a duel against Gan Ning, and that's why I put him in here at number 10. So Wen Yang's a very interesting choice for me. I believe he definitely belongs on this list somewhere, and I think he's a good choice in the top 10 because Wen Yang had a similar feat to that of Zhao Yun in the Changban incident, and just him being able to weave in and out of, I believe, thousands of like cavalry units that's being led by Sima Shi or being ordered by Sima Shi to attack Wen Yang. I believe he's either by himself or he has maybe a dozen or handful of people with him, and he's weaving in and out of this group of soldiers that are trying to kill him, and he's killing hundreds and maybe even thousands of them, which ends up thwarting their attack. It's even said in some instances that this is the incident that caused Sima Shi's eye illness to get even worse. But I believe Wen Yang is a solid choice here at number 9. I think he would maybe have a hard time with Zhou Tai. I think it would be hard to say who would win in a duel setting. I think Zhou Tai honestly would come out on top, but I believe just because of this feat in itself, I would put Wen Yang just a little bit more above Zhou Tai because that is, it's kind of insane to think about. It's one of the craziest feats within the novel and within just the characters themselves, and I think he's a solid choice here at number 9. Now, Zhu Chu is an interesting choice. He obviously belongs up here, an extremely strong warrior, very fierce. And when it comes to protecting Cao Cao, there is few that can match this character. He dueled Ma Chao and Dian Wei to even matches, so being compared and fighting these two characters, according to the novel and what I've read, those two feats within itself is pretty impressive. Very strong warriors, very skilled, and he's able to basically hold his own against them. Zhu Chu doesn't get a lot of respect within most of the games because of the way he looks and who he is, but I think he's a pretty strong character, and I think he's a great choice up here at number 8. Again, comparing him to other people on the list, I think he would beat everybody else that's below him when it comes to a one-on-one duel, especially if he's protecting Cao Cao. And just because of that fact in itself, I think Zhu Chu is a solid choice here at number 8. So coming in number 7, we have the Spear of Justice, the splendid Ma Chao, and he's definitely going to be on this list because he was a very talented and skilled warrior. Again, he ended up fighting Zhu Chu to a draw. He was evenly matched with this character as he was persistently pursuing Cao Cao, and he, I believe, ended up dueling Zhang Fei as well to a draw, which is extremely impressive because Zhang Fei, being one of the stronger characters of this time, drawing with a character like that definitely shows some sort of skill as a warrior. Ma Chao within the games is impressively shown that he is not a character to be messed with. He usually has some sort of power up with him, especially in the older games, and he's a very hard character to get past. I know Ma Chao went head to head with Zhu Chu and they evenly drawed out, but because he was able to evenly draw out with Zhang Fei as well, I had to put him just one spot above Zhu Chu. It's hard to say whether or not, Zhu Chu would have the same result with Zhang Fei. That's a hypothetical that I can't really make. But because it is slightly mentioned in some of the things I've read, and potentially it might be in the novel as well, Ma Chao drawing with Zhang Fei is a huge accomplishment and a huge feat in itself. When he was a warlord, I'm sure he, again, defeated many miscellaneous officers and generals to continue pushing his agenda of course, the revenge that he wanted on Cao Cao. So I think he's a solid choice here at number 7. Alright, so Zhang Liao up here at number 6. Now, the one thing I'm not going to include with Zhang Liao is him fighting Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, and Zhao Yun all at once in Dynasty Warriors 7. It is part of the game, so I guess it is, canon, but it's so ridiculous to think that he was able to do that against some of the strongest characters within the games without really any problem. Ruling that out, I think Zhang Liao, just because of what he's done, the defense at Hefei, killing Taishi Si, defeating many generals, and skilled warriors from the Wu force, Ling Tong, Lu Meng, and Gan Ning, holding his own against all these people. It's hard not to put this character up here. Spearheading the charge of, Sun Quan's main camp and cutting down, dozens of soldiers, Wu officers, and just his name alone was enough to put fear into the Wu army. Zhang Liao's feats within the Battle of Hefei really stapled this character, and then again being praised by a character like Lu Bu as being someone who is worthy in Lu Bu's eyes to be a qualified and competent general, at least within the games. I had to include Zhang Liao up here. He is an exceptional, legendary warrior of the Wei Kingdom, leader of the elite 5 generals of Wei, and I think he would have no problem dispatching any of the other people that I've already mentioned. Now, it could be argued that some of the people above him in the top 5 he could, potentially beat as well. But solid choice here at number 6, Zhang Liao. Let me know what you guys think about it down below. Let's go ahead and jump into the top 5. Alright, so coming in at number 5, we have the legendary dragon, the little dragon of Changsha, Zhao Yun. So Zhao Yun, of course, having the Changban Bridge event is pretty insane. Charging through thousands of soldiers, killing officers, saving a child, and then fighting more soldiers and more officers on his way back is a crazy feat within itself. It's said that I believe Zhao Yun didn't lose a single duel. He dueled Wen Chou and they were evenly matched. He dueled of course, Zhang Wei, and when he was an older man, he dueled him to a draw as well. And there's no record of it, but I believe he would also be able to hold his own against characters like Zhang Fei and Ma Chao. But I think it's a no-brainer for Zhao Yun being here in the top 5 just because of what, he's done within the games again, and then of course the feats that he has within the novel. I know the historical information is a little spotty, but I think within the game and within the novel itself, I think Zhao Yun is definitely a warrior and someone to be recognized. And he can pretty much hold his own against most people on this list. So starting off the top 5, we have the dragon himself, Zhao Yun. Let's go ahead and move on to the next person. Alright, coming at number 4, we have Dion Wei, and I think he's a solid choice for number 4. This dude was an absolute monster on the battlefield, and of course protecting Cao Cao. He's probably, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best bodyguards within the game, the ultimate protector, and no one is getting past him. The reason he's above Zhao Yun, because I'm comparing Zhao Yun's feat of drawing with Wen Chou and Zhang Wei, but I think Dion Wei would have dispatched Wen Chou and Zhang Wei pretty easily. It was said that he apparently wielded 2 halberds that weighed 40 Jin each, and he would wield them with incredible efficiency. He was an absolute monster, and if he survived past Wan Castle, he would have absolutely wrecked Shu and Wu had he been given the opportunity. This character within itself, again, watching all his death cutscenes at the Battle of Wan Castle, dude's got arrows in him, and he's still fighting through it, still holding his own. Dion Wei would give every character on this list a run for his money in a one-on-one duel. This character is, again, an absolute monster, a beast, and he is a no-brainer for number 4 here. I think he would come out on top against everyone below him, and he would definitely put out a fight against the 3 characters that are above him. So number 4, Dion Wei. Let's go ahead and jump into the top 3. So this is a thing that I read that people kept switching. So the number 2 character and then of course Zhang Fei being at number 3, they kept going back and forth. I'm going to put Zhang Fei at number 3 because I believe the number 2 character would end up beating him. Zhang Fei fought Lu Bu to a standstill in a 1v1 match. He also drew Ma Chao to a duel. And of course the Changban Bridge event, holding back thousands and thousands of Cao Cao soldiers single-handedly, is impressive to say the least. Zhang Fei was a extremely competent warrior on the battlefield. I believe he had a nickname that was along the lines of he was a character equal to that of like 10,000 people. So Zhang Fei on the battlefield was an absolute monster, and he absolutely decimated anyone in front of him. And I think in terms of a one-on-one duel, being able to hold your own against Lu Bu, this character would definitely have an advantage against every other character on this list. I think he would come out on top versus Dion Wei, not in like brute strength alone. It's hard to say which character is physically stronger, but I think Zhang Fei would come out on top just because of the feats that he accomplished within the game, and of course within the novel itself. I think he would have a little bit of an advantage over Dion Wei and would eventually come out on top, in my opinion. But I think we'd have a hard time with the number 2 character and of course the number 1 character, and that's why he's starting off our top 3. One of the other 5 Tiger Generals, a no-brainer to put him in the list, and I think he's a solid choice at number 3. So coming in at number 2, it's pretty obvious he should be on this list somewhere, and I think number 2 is a great spot for him. The reason that I was talking about him being switched with Zhang Fei, some people would argue, and I believe Guan Yu is quoted to have said that Zhang Fei is actually physically stronger than Guan Yu, but I think Guan Yu, in terms of skill in battle, a 1v1, I think Guan Yu, the God of War, comes out on top. Being feared by everyone, his name alone was enough to put terror into people's hearts. And of course, being able to dispatch people like Hua Xiong, Yang Liang, Wen Chou, and lots of other talented generals with really no problem at all. He easily was killing these people. Guan Yu coming at number 2 is a no-brainer. He held his own against Lu Bu, and he could probably hold his own for quite a bit against Lu Bu, especially in his prime, especially when he really, acquired the experience and the knowledge of being a competent general and warrior in battle. Guan Yu is a no-brainer here at number 2, one of the strongest characters in the game, and I think he would have pretty much an easy time against any other character within the game except number 1. Crazy amount of feats within the game for Guan Yu. Even when he was dying, it took that much to kill Guan Yu because he was, again, that hard to kill. He just had a presence about himself. You don't nickname a character the God of War lightly. Like, there's a reason that he was given that name, and I believe that's why he fits really well here at number 2. With that being said, let's go ahead and reveal number 1. Were you really surprised to see him up here at number 1? We've got Lu Bu. Among men, Lu Bu. Among horses, red hair. This guy is a legendary character within the series, and there's really, I mean, this was probably the easiest person to put in a position because nobody's gonna match Lu Bu in a 1v1 duel. Again, historically, it's hard to say. Was he an invincible character? No. Was he, never beaten? Of course not. Whatever it was. But in the games, in the novel, this character is extremely powerful. Holding off against the three brothers in the beginning at Hu Lao. Later on, he would end up fighting Shu Chu and Dian Wei. And it was even said that Cao Cao would send Xiahou Dun, Eugene, Li Dian, and other skilled officers to go and fight Lu Bu, and only after a short time, he still was there fighting these people, he would then pull back and retreat. So Lu Bu was all about the smoke and fighting as many people and as whatever he could, whatever he can get his thrill and fight people. That's what he did. In Dynasty Warriors 9, they do a great job displaying his power. Dude, he swipes away Zhang Liao with one shot, swipes away Hua Shang with one shot. This character is ridiculously strong, and it should be a no-brainer that he's up here at number 1. When it comes to a one-on-one match with any other character, this character would come out on top. Maybe not easily with each character, but he would eventually come out on top against each and every character on the list. And it's a no-brainer for why Lu Bu is up here at number 1. And that's pretty much going to be it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, let me know down below what you guys think. Would really love to talk to you guys and get your thoughts about what you guys think, who the strongest character is, and again, let me know what you guys think about it down below. Who do you think the strongest characters are besides Lu Bu? Obviously, he's going to be number 1. But yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely appreciate a like, comment, or subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.